There. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. We are working today on legs and lower back. And the first thing that I'm going to do is basically a seated shape that starts opening up the legs, but you may need a blanket. So I'm going to show you how it goes. Bring your legs in front of you and shake them a little bit. And then what you're going to do is to bend your right knee and put the right leg to the side and bring your right heel towards your pelvis or groin. And of course, I'm folding my leg as much as I can. But if that brings some pain or discomfort in your knee, then to ease that, then you would open your leg more and you send the foot, like you can see in the camera, a little further away from the pelvis, right? That will give you more space behind the knee. Okay, so this is number one. Number two is that my left leg, I'm going to bend it also. And you have two options here. If this opening, I'm doing like a V, right, with my thighs. If this opening feels like it's too much, then that left leg, I want you to bring it a little bit more closed in. You can see it again also in the camera. And it's more like going off my hip to the knee, so it's more straight. That will close the shape a little and make it easier or less intense, okay? If you're okay with opening both legs like I'm doing, it looks a little bit like a V that I'm doing with my thighs. My right heel is coming next to my pelvis, like I said before. And here the aim is to try and bring the sitting bones heavy until we get eventually to a place where we can feel both sitting bones kind of even onto the floor. For many of us, that doesn't happen because this requires a lot of practice and doing it over and over again, right? So for me, maybe you see like it looks like straight, but I've been practicing this a lot. So if you feel like you're sitting like this and you're kind of like falling over, I'm exaggerating, but that if you feel that, then you need to bring your blanket and put it underneath you so you can balance the pelvis, because the pelvis is important to not have it tilted because it will torque your hips and your lower back, okay? And we are trying to avoid that. Okay, so I'm sitting tall. I'm pressing through my sitting bones down. If you need that blanket, you're putting it underneath to level the sitting bones. And then besides that, I'm going to bring my low belly into the back of my body. You can leave your hands on top of your knees or thighs, or the version that I like the most actually is bringing my hands behind, pressing the floor behind me. And that at the same time is helping me create an internal lift and also external, but I'm using both from the inside of my body, from the bottom of the pelvic floor. I'm trying to lift the spine, open the shoulders away from one another, and bring the shoulder blades down my back as I push with the crown of my head up towards the ceiling. And then we take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the nose as well. Good. Then I'm bringing my arms in front. I'm going to slowly re-extend my left leg and my right legs, both, and I'm shaking a little so we can switch sides. Now I'm going to bring my right heel in, my left knee is, my left heel coming in close to the pelvis, the right knee bent out, and I'm going to try again and find that balance. Even though you cannot see it, I can feel how my right sitting bone now is lighter and it's not completely rounded. And that's very normal, right? So you are very like well feeling like what's supposed to feel if you feel that as well. The idea though is to try and bring more groundedness into both sides. So now again, I'm trying to push through both sitting bones down. I'm toning my lower belly towards the back of my body. I'm relaxing the shoulders and I'm bringing my hands behind. So they help me with my finger pads. I'm pressing into the floor so I can lift the chest, lift through the crown of the head. That means that my chin is off the chest, and I'm widening also my shoulders away from one another. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Again, exhaling through the nose. Trying to find that fluid breath, okay? Good, then I'm releasing that. I'm going to re-extend both legs. You may be feeling already some opening in the inner legs, which is what I'm aiming for, and also lateral hips or outer hips. Shake a little. I'm going back again. I'm going to add more pieces. So again, I have my right heel coming towards the pelvis. I'm trying to turn a little bit that shin down, and I have the opposite leg behind me like I did before. Okay, same thing, but adding more. Sitting bones heavy, low belly moving in, reaching up through the crown of the head. Now I'm going to have my left hand in front of me, my right hand behind me. I'm using it again to help me lift. And now what I'm going to try and do is from my belly button, so you can even touch it so you remember where it is, from my navel up, I'm going to try and twist or turn my torso to the right. Okay, so from the navel up. From the navel down, I'm trying to make my low belly move to the left. So even though it sounds funny, I'm trying to work mainly with the upper portion of the body towards the right, okay? So this would be stage number 1. I hope you can see that my spine is tall and I'm softening the shoulders, okay? Breathe through the nose again. And like I said before, I usually add bus stops and you choose which is the bus stop that you are getting off, okay? So you can choose any one. Keep sitting bones heavy, left hand to the right thigh or knee, that will be the next step. I'm still lifting and trying to turn the chest, right? And from the navel up towards the right. Okay, next stage. Now what I'm going to try and do is to bring my right shoulder blade towards my spine. So I'm trying to bring it in a little bit more into my body. That will make my chest go a little further to the right. Good. Next one, if possible, because this one is a little more intense. My right arm, I'm going to send it behind me and try and catch, like you can see my hand, I'm saying hello there. I'm going to try and catch my left hip or thigh or glute, or maybe even you're just catching your t-shirt and you're pulling from your t-shirt, okay? Now still I'm trying to run through the sitting bones, belly button moving in, from the navel up, I'm trying to twist to the right. And the last one that I'm doing is to bring the head over to the left. So I'm like looking over my left shoulder, but without tucking the chin in, right? So I keep the chin of the chest. One breath. And then I'm returning with the head, returning with the arms, coming back to the center, and I'm extending the legs and shaking a little. Good. Second side, I'm going to bring the last side, right? So I'm bringing my left heel in, I'm moving that right thigh out, I'm sitting tall, and of course you're moving that blanket if you need to move a blanket that you have underneath the sitting bones, and I'm trying to ground through the sitting bones, bring my low belly in. Good. Now I'm putting right hand in front, left hand behind, and I'm pressing through my finger pads to lift the spine and make it really tall. Now from my belly button up towards my head, I'm going to turn over to the left. Any amount that you turn, it's a really good action for the body. We are creating that torsion that pumps blood into your whole system, and we are also trying to work with the lower back and the legs. We are lifting, lifting, lifting. We are turning over to the left. My left shoulder blade now it's coming a little closer to my spine, so I'm sending it in a little bit more. My right hand goes to my left knee or thigh. My left arm can stay where it is, or coming a little further back and catching the hip or the pants or anywhere that you can catch. That action opens up the top of your shoulder way more. You may feel it already there, okay? So if this feels like it's too intense, you make it less moderate by just releasing that hand. Okay, I'm still lifting through the spine. I'm still breathing through the nose. And now I'm going to try and bring the chin over my right shoulder. Not tucking the chin in, but keeping it above the shoulder, looking over and breathing again. Good, then I'm slowly returning. I'm releasing right leg, left leg, shake them a little. Awesome. Okay, let's go into the next one. For the next one, you're going to need a block. So I'm going to bring one block, or maybe it's a book and it will work as well, because I'm going to use it flat and I'm going to put it right in front of me. You see how my legs are out to the sides. My block is flat and I'm using the long side of the block, so I have it right in front of me. So first thing that I'm doing is sitting tall. And again, this is a good opportunity to put your blanket underneath if you need more padding. And if you feel like when you sit this way, Naturally, your body goes very much into a rounded position, which can happen because many of us, we are used to being seated in the computer a lot. Then you need a little bit of height. So I highly recommend a blanket. I have there my props, but highly recommend a folded blanket so you have that support, okay? So I'm there, sitting tall. I'm pressing my heels down into the floor. That will start opening more and more the underside of the legs. Very important because that area is connected to your lower back muscles. So we are working the lower back as well, okay? Super, I have my block in front of me, and now what I'm going to try and do is to bend my right knee and put that right foot on top of the block. I hope you can see it, my foot is on top, and I'm trying to bring that block any amount that I can close to my pelvis. It doesn't have to be completely touching. Mine is not touching. It's just like a little closer to the pelvis as it was before. The left leg is going to stay the same as it is. You can see that I'm pushing with my heel down and I'm pushing away from me. And you can either grab the block or again, bring the hands behind, which I like a lot because it helps me open the chest, an added bonus. And I'm pressing with my foot into the block, and I'm trying to also lengthen from my groin towards my inner knee. I'm not necessarily saying that you have to push your knee down, okay? That's not necessary. It's mainly the idea of creating length, okay? So from the groin out to the knee, that will help you a lot. Keep lengthening the sides of your body. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out. And again, I'm going to add a bus stop that it's a little less moderate, I'm going to say. So you're going to choose if you want it or not. So now I'm taking those hands from behind, but I try to stay tall, and I'm going to bring them in front and lengthening my spine. I'm going to try and bring myself a little bit more into a forward fold. As you can see, I'm not doing like a total 100% forward fold because I want to create length in my spine instead of rounding a lot. So I'm just walking my finger pads a little bit, and I'm trying to keep that length, toning my lower belly and pressing into my block as I open up that inner line in my leg, okay? Awesome, this is a really good deep work. And then I'm walking myself back. I'm taking that leg out, sit tall again, and we switch sides. I'm gonna move back so my block is a little more steady. Good, and then I'm bending the left knee. I'm putting my left foot on top of the block, and I'm going to bring that block in or not, any amount that you can handle, okay? And as you can see, the difference, I don't know if you paid attention between one leg and the other, like it happens to all of us. One side is very different than the other, depending on which leg is more dominant in your body, the activities that you do. So if one knee feels like it's tighter, then you push the block a little further out, okay? My hands are behind me. I'm pushing through my heel. I'm pressing down with that right leg so I help the underside of the leg, the hamstring, and the lower back muscles open up more. I'm pushing with my finger pads to lift the spine, and then I'm pressing with my left foot into my block, and I'm trying to lengthen from my left groin to my left knee. Breathe in and out. Keep the face soft, relax your jaws. And the second option is only for the ones who want to just add a little more, and you can hold it here. So my lower belly is really toned to help my lower back. And then I'm reaching over that block a little bit. And I'm breathing again through the nose. Keep that right leg active. It's really toned. I'm pushing through the heel for one more breath. And then I'm coming back slowly, re-extending that left leg, wiggle them a little. Super, now I'm going to keep that block as it is, and I'm going to change the game. I'm going to bring both legs in, and those long borders of the blocks, that's where I'm going to put both my feet, okay? This can be a little, like, again, intense or a little too much. So you can always change the block into the medium position and bring the feet a little closer. And even though this looks like it could be more intense, it's actually less, okay? So you can do the block in the medium setting, or you can do it in the flat. Now, what I'm doing is with the soles of my feet, I'm trying to press into that block. And again, I'm going to put my hands behind, and I'm going to push with the center of my heels and the base of my toes into the block. And now evenly, right, because both legs are doing the same, I'm trying to go from my groins out to my knees and open up as much as I can. Now let's also bring the shoulders wide away from one another, lifting through the sternum. Take a deep breath through the nose. Long exhale. And we do this one more time. Nice. Then I'm bringing both my knees in. I'm extending the legs and I'm shaking a little. And I'm going to use a second block for the next one. This is a combination. I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm doing a combination of legs, lower back, and a little bit of chest also, and heart, because I always find it beneficial, because you guys may be a lot in the computer and you may need it for a little bit more opening. Okay, so I'm going to use one of my blocks in the flat position. I'm really going to use it as a seat. I'm going to sit on top. So if you don't have a block, it can be maybe a blanket that you fold a few times and it looks a little bit like an elevated block, right? And the second one, I'm going to use it tall, and it looks like I'm drawing an inverted T, let's say, or something like that, right? So one is vertical in the tallest of the positions, the other one is the flat. And if you don't have blocks, I don't know really how you can replace that one. Maybe it's like a cushion that it's firm and it's a little taller than the other. So something like that. It could also be, I'm thinking maybe a box, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to sit on top of my first block and watch what I'm gonna do. My right leg, I'm going to bend the knee and I'm going to put my foot underneath my glute, and it's actually my heel is touching the block that it's underneath me. Now, some of us, this shape may be not something that you can do depending on how your knees are. If you're sensitive, then a couple of options. Number one, if you can, but it feels a little like a little bit of discomfort there, then you add a blanket and you put it in between your butt and the leg. And you can even cover the block and sit on top. That will give you a little bit more height in between the legs, and it will soften that sensation in the knee. If that doesn't work at all, then that leg, instead of doing it like what I just showed, which is called Virasana or hero leg, then you're going to do like the butterfly shape that we just did before, and you let that leg be just bent to the side in the butterfly shape, okay? So I'm doing that one. The left leg will stay exactly as I'm showing, foot on the mat, my knees bent. And now with my hands, I'm gonna go and grab my second block. That block will be right at the base of my shoulder blades, at the center. And when I go there and I find the space more or less where I can place the block right at the center, right at the base of my shoulder blades, before I do anything else, what I'm going to do here is to lift my pelvis, lengthen my buttock muscles towards the floor on the other side, and then bring my butt again down into my support, so I can lengthen the lower back muscles and send my tailbone in. I'm trying to make my right thigh heavy to go down towards the floor. And then I'm going to interlace fingers, bring the hands behind my head, and let my head drop into the hands for a chest opener. My elbows, they are going to, what I'm doing is with the tips of my elbows, I'm pointing back towards the wall behind me. And this will feel a nice way to open up the chest. And I'm stretching a lot in the groin, the hip flexor on the right. And I'm trying to get a little deeper there, okay? If this feels like it's too much, of course, you can lift yourself up and just do the lower portion of it without adding the chest, okay? I'm taking another breath. I'm trying to reach backwards with the tips of my elbows. And then I'm Bringing my chin towards my chest, hands down, and then I'm lifting myself up. Awesome. Then with a lot of care, you're gonna hold that right shin so you can bring the leg in front of you. Take a breath, and then we'll switch to the other side. So now I'm going to bend my left knee and put that heel towards my block. That's what I'm doing on that side. My right knee is bent and my foot is on the mat. Remember, if you're not doing that shape with the leg, the shin going backwards, then you do the butterfly shape. And again, I'm gonna go towards my block. I'm going to try and place it more or less. Sometimes it's a little challenging to put it right at the center, but more or less at the center of my shoulder blades, lifting the center of the chest. Before I do anything else, I'm lifting my glutes, lengthening the gluteal muscles and the tailbone moving into my body before I set the block. I set my pelvis on top of the block again. And I'm trying to really lengthen and make my left thigh heavy. That's mainly for the ones who are doing the same shape that I'm doing, right? Which is with the knee down. And then I'm interlacing fingers again, one more time, hands behind the head. My elbows are shoulder distance apart. I'm letting my torso go over that block, and I'm reaching back with the tips of my elbows towards the wall behind me. 2 breaths. Long and steady. Sweet, tender breath, mainly fluid, that will help your nervous system as well. And then we bring the chin again towards the chest. We release the hands so we can push ourselves back up. Beautiful. Then I'm bringing that left knee in, and I'm going to stay with this block because I'm going to add something else. So again, optional, I'm going to bend that right knee and put the foot down and next to me like I did before. Again, the option of changing that for the butterfly leg instead, okay? The difference is that now I'm going to send the left leg forward in front of me. I'm going to push through the heel. I'm going to elevate my torso. And then I'm going to inhale, send my arms up, reach up through the fingertips, keep the low belly toned, and then lengthen the torso and move towards the top of that left leg, right? So you can here take the belt and pull from the belt around the foot. You can just put your hands to frame the left leg, or if you are close to that foot and you want to catch it, you can catch it. Lengthen the spine again, tone that belly in. Try to bend the elbows a little. That will force your chest to stay open, and then you fold any amount. It is not important how far down you're going. This is a big stretch for the back of the leg. We are working legs and lower back. So we want to make sure that we keep the integrity of the posture that we are doing without pushing too much, okay? Good. Then I'm slowly lengthening to come back up, and I'm going to do the switch again. So I'm bending the left knee. I'm bringing my right knee back to where I was. Now I'm going to extend the right leg, and I'm going to bend the left knee and the left shin coming behind me, or the butterfly shape for the leg, okay? Push through the heel down to the floor. Lengthen the sides of the body. Inhale, send the arms up, reach, reach, reach. Keep the chest open. And then I'm doing a little bit of a twist, like what I said in the beginning when we were sitting, and I said from the navel up, we are trying to go over to one side. So that's what I'm doing. From my belly button up, I'm turning to the right, and then I'm reaching over that right leg. Keep pressing through the ball of your right foot and the heel. And again, you can bend the elbows, reach forward with your sternum, and then release the head down. Good, and I'm slowly lengthening and lifting and coming back. Good, bending that right knee, bringing the left knee towards me. And I'm going to transition from here. I'm going to turn so you can see me better, but I'm going to transition from here into a squat. So what I'm going to do is, you can use your hands, of course. I'm pushing myself forward. I'm turning so you can see. You can widen the feet more than what they are already. And Today, as I'm coming into a squat, bending my knees, I'm going to let my heels come up, and I'm actually on purpose going to send my heels really high above my toes. That will lift your knees as well, which is totally normal, and it is part of the shape. Now, I'm going to put my hands inside and touch down for support, but you can very well bring blocks or books or anything to keep you steady, because I have my knees really high because my heels are also high, okay? So once you have that and your heels are high towards your sitting bones, I want you to try and consciously drop the sitting bones down towards your heels and make your hips heavy and your sitting bones heavy, okay? Keep that, and again, from there, not again, but from here, try and internally create a lift that goes from the bottom of your pelvic floor towards the crown of the head. Optional, if you have the balance, to bring your palms in front of you. If you do not, or you start like feeling super wobbly, you bring your hands back down into your support, okay? Take a couple of breaths. Let the hips be heavy, the sitting bones heavy, and the heels high. Good. And then I'm returning with my hands if they were balancing. And what I'm going to do is to transition from here. I'm going to turn again so you can see my side, but I'm going to start pressing my feet down so my heels come towards the floor. Before I keep moving up, I want to check that my feet are really parallel to one another. So if they are not, which could be because we were doing the squat, it can be that they were more out or in, so bring them to be parallel to one another. I'm keeping that, and now I'm bending my knees a little more so I can lengthen the torso, tone the belly, and reach down with my trunk, my neck, and my head. Once you get there, if you can, you're going to extend the legs a little more, but if that is not happening, keep the knees bent. What I do want you to try and do, if you can, is to use your thumbs and index fingers to do like two little circles, and you're going to grab your big toes. And once you have that, pull your big toes towards you and press the rest of your toes down to the floor. Low belly moves in, and use that action of pressing into the heels and the four toes left in each of your feet to lengthen and fold a little further and release the neck and the head. My inner thighs are going back, and the more I bring the low belly tone into my body, the more I can reach down with the trunk and the head and the neck. Elbows out to the sides, and if you can, move the shoulders away from your ears. Drop the head and breathe. Just checking the time. One more breath. Good. Then I'm going to release the hook of my big toes. I'm going to move the weight of my body a little bit more towards my toes. Bring my hands to my hips and the elbows point up. Then I'm going to lift the chin off the chest and come halfway up. Send your inner thighs back. Bring the elbows up again. And as you push through the feet, tone your low belly to come all the way up to standing. Nice. And then shake it a little bit here. Super. We have like a minute left. So I'm going to go down. And if you want to have a belt close to you, keep it with you, okay? So 1 minute, we'll do a little more to get the full time that we have together. Okay, I'm lying down, my feet are down. I'm going to bring my right knee to my chest. If you want to use your strap, you can use a strap here. I'm going to interlace fingers behind my right thigh. If not, you put that belt at the base of your toes, and then I'm pressing with my thigh into my hands to stretch or bring that right leg up, okay? You can extend the left leg towards the top of your mat, pushing the left heel down and stretching that right leg, pushing through the heel and the base of my toes or mound of my toes. Good, keep the chest open, take a deep breath in. Long breath out. Good. Then I'm going to open my toes to, not open, but I'm going to turn my toes to the right. So what I'm doing is a rotation with the leg, not opening the leg, right? I'm turning to the right and then I'm turning to the left. It won't go super far, but it's a very good internal and external rotation for the lower back and your hips. Again, I'm doing out and I'm doing in, and then I'm going to bend that right knee, bring it to the chest. And with my left hand, I'm going to bring that right knee over to the left side. Once I get there, any amount that you can go, see if you can shift your upper back a little bit to the left. So the shoulders even down, and you extend the right arm out and you turn the head to the right. We are almost done. I'm just adding the last side. Back to center with the legs as well. Good. Extend your right leg, bring the left leg in, bending the knee, and either with your belt or interlacing fingers, catch that left thigh and extend the leg. Good. Push the thigh into your hands, lift, lift, lift through the leg. I'm pushing through the heel and the ball of my toes, foot, and then I'm turning my leg to the right and to the left. I'm just rotating, right? Toes, knee, hip, and left. And again, right and left 3 times. Good. Then you rebend that left knee with your right hand, bring that knee over to the right. Make space there, relax the shoulders, send the left arm out and turn the head to the left. Back to center we go with the legs. Hug both knees in, rock a little bit side to side. Put your feet down, extend one arm, roll over to the side, and I'm pressing back up to close this class together. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I hope it's useful for the legs and the lower back, and I hope to see you next time. Namaste. Bye, everyone.